Said how unhappy you were with the foul on Kevin Long for the first goal, but should Saint-Maximin still have scored with so many Burnley players around him?
Well, I think the point I was trying to make actually was a bit more about the greater good of the game, because real fouls are not getting given anymore. You know, dives and people rolling around and squealing and that get given, but real fouls, because that's a real foul. And I think the referees have lost the art of seeing real fouls, because it's almost like their eyes are so trained on people falling over. So I was more remarking on the game. That being said, it was a foul. I've seen it back. And yes, the ball lands, he does well, he's twisting, turning. And that actual goal more or less summed up our first half, because there wasn't any sharpness, there wasn't any endeavour, and there wasn't that belief in doing your job properly. And then we changed it at half time, and all of a sudden that corrected itself somewhat anyway.
I mean, Saint-Maximin was in blistering form tonight. I mean, how hot was he to handle?
Well, not too hot against our lot, because first half I could have played against them. But second half, we did better generally. We gave a much better performance, a much sharper performance, but we gave away mistakes and we got punished by them. How
worrying, Sean, is 3 defeats from the first 3?
No, it's not worrying. There's a reality. We've got the most stretched squad I've ever had since I've been here. We haven't activated where we'd like to in the market. So there is a reality to that. We're putting players out there who are not fully fit. Not 100% fit, so we've got to correct that. They've got a few down days now with some will be off on international duty, and they will be working hard after that. And we will get players fit again. We've still got 4 back at the base who are very experienced players.
How important are the final days of the market, Sean?
I don't think they'll be that important to us, because I don't think there'll be anything happening. The group, I must say that people do forget, because of the amount of injuries, you can lose sight of where the group is. And when you actually get everyone fit and you look at the group and the squad, then you go, okay, there's still probably 1 or 2, possibly 3 at a stretch short. But generally, I think you'd think it's a pretty rounded squad.
Is there any interest in Lawrence Shankland at Dundee United?
Who's that, sorry?
Lawrence Shankland at Dundee United.
No.
Okay. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
Okay. Dan Black.
It's a strange one. Who knows?
Hi, Sean.
Hiya.
Just look at one of the positives tonight. How good is it to see Ashley Barnes back on the pitch playing a Premier League game?
Yeah, I mean, him and Taki, we've lost a lot of them this week. So they've played on Wednesday, they've played again today. We've got to be a little bit careful. I thought he gave a good account of himself in both games, Barnesy, but we've had to get him off. We're trying to get him properly fit. Taki the same. They're not up to their usual fitness standards, but they will get there.
It's obviously been a while that he's been out. He's a big personality in the dressing room. He'll give the rest of the lads a lift, I'd imagine, as well, would he, with his return?
Yeah, I think all of the group, they're a bit wounded, not by results as much as anything, but by the fact that they're missing a lot of players. They are getting back. You saw tonight, Johan gets some more minutes, and that's good, because obviously with the initial injury, the initial tackle that he went through, we were wondering that could be a long one. So he's done well with that. Hopefully he'll get some football, international football as well, so that will top his fitness up. Robbie Brady is saying we have to be careful, crack ribs, but he might get some football this week. Back home, you've still got Corky, you've got Ben Mee, we've got Jay Rodriguez, we've got Matt Loughton. We are coming back to some kind of a group, but we're still not there yet.
The international break kind of come at a good time on that front then, in that respect?
I think it has, by the amount of games we've had as well. I mean, this has been at our most stretched. We've had game after game over this beginning period. So we went through the cup games, of course. So, we have asked a lot of the players physically. Some of that is good for some of them who need that work, and some it's that weird conundrum where some of them probably need this break. So we'll try and find the balance. They will get some time off this week, and then we'll work hard when they're back together again.
You mentioned that it was unlikely that there'll be any activity in the market before the October 5th deadline. Are you more optimistic that something may happen beyond that before the 16th?
No, not really. We've got to, you've got to remember, it's not about just bringing any old player in. You've got to bring players in who can activate for us now, and we have brought projects in the past, but they should be added on top of the group we've got now and any signings we make. So really, we're looking at players that we think can affect the situation now, this minute. So obviously that's a skinnier market when you don't know what finance is involved and what finance is available.
Thanks, Sean.
Thanks, Dan. Alex James, please.
Evening, Sean.
Hiya.
How sort of disappointed were you with that first half performance? I know you said there you felt you were miles off it.
No, I just thought it was off. Disappointment comes and goes. It's the reality of the Premier League, but you can't perform like that, I don't feel, and get away with it too many times. And we kind of did, because if you get me, we 1-0 and it could, well, actually, it was a strange half. I don't think they were peppering us or anything. We just didn't look close to where we need to be. Really pleased with the reaction, because I thought we were excellent then for the next 20 odd minutes or whatever it was in the second half, and scored a goal, and we looked way more like it, and we're really on the front foot. And then, unfortunately, we give away another, soft goal, and there's been too many of them. We don't get over as a back four. We don't cover each other quick enough, and they get really a cheap goal. And then, of course, the third one's a giveaway in the end. So that won't happen many times over Popey's life. It's just a decision. He decided on a night like tonight, let's put it this way, bucketing down with rain, he knows that he should just put his foot through that one. But on another day, he'd have got away with it.
Has it been individual errors as much as anything? I mean, that's 4 goals at Leicester and 3 tonight, which is unlike you and Burnley, really, to concede 7 in 2 away games. Is it as much individual errors as it has been sort of a collective malaise?
No, it's more. I think it's a lot. Most goals are collective. The odd individual one, of course, because that sometimes happens, as we saw tonight. But generally, it's the unit work. And that comes with fitness, it comes with sharpness, but it also comes with focus. And they're very closely linked. When you're truly fit, you focus for 95 minutes. At the minute, we are losing focus at some key moments. And it's fair to say we have been punished. There are times when you get away with them moments. One of your players bails you out, or the keeper makes a big save. We're not getting away with them moments at the minute. So we've got to work hard, make sure we're eradicating them, and make sure we have that focus and consistency throughout the whole performance.
It's easy to sort of react initially to 3 defeats and where you are in the league table, but we are only 3 games in. You've probably been in worse spots than this, thinking back to after Everton on Boxing Day, when I think it was 12 points in 19 games. So I guess you've got the belief, the know-how, and the confidence in the group, regardless of any more signings, that you can pull this together and turn it around a little bit.
The Premier League's unforgiving. I don't think after lockdown you'd think that, well, with our injuries, maybe. I wasn't going into this thinking we'd have maximum points, I can assure you. But equally, I don't think anyone would have called, what Sheffield United's start has been like. I don't think anyone would have called that after last season. So it's the Premier League. It's tough. I'm reality bound. We've been as stretched as I've ever been here. A lot going on, both on and off the pitch, and we're trying to manufacture a way of working that will keep us on the straight and narrow and get us to win games. First things first, before you worry about anything else, is that we've got to get players fully fit. I mean, fully Premier League fit. Then I think I'll look at it and go, right, that's when we need to start really scrutinising the group. There is some scrutiny from myself, and analysis, but that's when you can really say, right, where are we now?
And just lastly for me, and in terms of morale around the group and the club as a whole, with everything that's been going on over the last few weeks and months, how would you sort of sum that up at the minute?
I don't think it's ideal. I don't think it's the perfect situation for us, but it's the reality of what it is. So we get on with it. The group look to get on with it. As I said, really good reaction in the second half. It's only the first half, the first time this season where we haven't looked at it, to be fair. So that can happen just randomly. A lot of travelling, lately, well, certainly up here and then hanging around in a hotel. Things like that, they can bring that kind of lethargy. I'm pleased to say we shook it off at half time, but we can't keep making them mistakes.
Thanks, Sean.
Facey, do you want a word?
Yeah, I do. Sean, the boys were up pretty quickly after half time. What was it that you said to them? Because it must have been short and swift.
No, just really reminded them of how we work and what was needed, and gave some assurances if we correct what I said to them, then I thought it would work, and it did. But then, like I said, we keep making key mistakes in key moments and not getting bailed out. Whether it's a defender who covers you, or whether it's a goalkeeper who makes a big save, and equally when we find the moments at their end. By the way, so don't it's easy to question your maybe your back four or your keeper. We've equally got to question the chances that we're creating and how many we're creating, the quality of them, and then taking them chances when they come.
You're no strangers to adversity, Sean, but I think this is the first time you've lost the first 3 in the Premier League. What are the qualities that will help you turn it round in the group?
Well, I think delivering the basics. I think the strong, fit and organised has always been a situation that we've had to work on, that base, if you like. We're not that at the moment because we haven't got the full squad. We haven't got true fitness, as in true Premier League fitness in the group, due to the injuries and people coming back from injury. So when we correct them things, then, of course, I'll be looking, going, right, okay, now I think we're ready to go. In the meantime, we've been piecing it together. We've been working hard. No lack of work, no lack of planning. And we were stretched in the last part of the last season. And I didn't expect to be in this position now. We haven't activated in the market when we've needed to from last season or this season. So we are stretched at the moment. But on the balance of that, when everyone's fit, I do remind you of that, when everyone's fit, if you look at a piece of paper with a squad fully fit, you'd actually go, well, they still might be 1 or 2 short, but there's still a decent squad there.
And just going back to that first goal, Sean, you were making your feelings known well before the goal went in about the challenge on Long. Is it another problem with VAR that they don't look at things like that?
Yeah, well, I think tonight there was. I mean, they tell me the rules of VAR, but sometimes you've got to go beyond the rules. We saw it last season with the mystery goal that wasn't given at Villa. That one tonight, for me, it leads to a goal. That's where VAR should step in and go, it's a foul. Because the problem is, you see, we're in a weird predicament here because Kevin Long is trying to win the ball. Now, any other player who would have received that knock in the side would have thrown their arms out, gone sprawling, and the referee would have given it. He's actually tried to stay on his feet, tried to do the right thing, and he gets no foul. So we're in a strange predicament here. And I would never, I don't like it. I don't like people diving and feigning injury and screaming and I don't. But I'm getting to the point where it's actually doing us down now, peculiar as that seems. So trying to do the right thing is costing us. We saw in the week against Man City, Dwight McNeil gets brought down. He goes down naturally. He gets nothing. Charlie Taylor, for a penalty, by the way, Charlie Taylor gets brought down in the box, goes down naturally, gets nothing. And yet we see people rolling around the tiniest touch, and it's a penalty. So I just think the game's in a peculiar state. I seem to be the only one. Well, I'm not actually, because me and Brucey were laughing about some of the things tonight. He's similar-minded. There doesn't seem to be many out there who are really that bothered about it. But I think it's in a peculiar situation, both with physical contact in the game and the officials' view of physical contact in the game.